not advocating this stuff at all. I'm just telling what I've read about. Like if they have a student coming to them, some of the things that they might do is just take some of the very mild parts of the plant and stir it up into a tea and have like the student drink it first. And then there's signs like if the person goes to sleep and wakes up and like he tells the shaman or whatever, hey, I don't feel sick and feel like I'm going to die from it. And then maybe from that point on, if the guy takes a piece of that plant, you know how you can like, what's it called, propagate a plant, take a piece of a plant, propagate it, and then like plant your own. And if you propagate the plant in your own spot on your own territory and the plant blossoms into seed making level, they consider that like a good sign. And at that point, like the plant and the person might be agreeable, and the shamans or these tribes will always hold out that last reservation, like, oh, the plant has a mind of its own, it has a spirit of its own, it's not to be treated like a person, like, oh, bam, you have a green light just because it went to seed, like to go do whatever you want with it. You wouldn't just go up to a pit bull walking around and, just because it wags its tail at you. If you don't know the pit bull, you don't just reach out and start petting it. So that's how they approach the plants. Like they approach the plants like this. These spirits can like straddle 2 dimensions. They can like basically see through you. The spirits of these plants tend to watch over what happens with them very closely. I guess is the way they are looking at this stuff. And from that point, what if they like take a tea and like grind it up and like drink it and they're okay? Then maybe next time they'll try something else and they'll try something else. And they don't just go out and find a plant and just like start eating pieces of it or eating seeds of it just because somebody told them to. It's to be treaded upon very lightly and with respect. And they some. It seems in the United States we don't even think that these plants have spirits at all for the most part. Maybe we're getting there, but I have a book here. It's called Los Dueños del Mundo, Shipibo, and in English, that would mean the owners of the world of the Shipibo. Shipibo is a tribe, so Del Mundo is the whole world. Dueños is the owners. They're looking at this as like if you open up this book, it's kind of like a textbook. Shipibo is a tribe in the Amazon, and they made a book in Spanish for the people of Peru to look through for like a study guide. So I'm just going to open up the first one here is... The first one is ayahuasca, which is what we call ayahuasca, I think. El dueño de la planta de ayahuasca, su cuerpo y su cabeza medio largos. So that basically means like it's got a medium big head. So I know the word largo means more of like elongated or something like that, but I'm like looking at the picture here and it's not an elongated head, but... So it seems like they're using it more for like medium large head or medium large body. Cuello largo, so it's got a long neck. Y su cuerpo redondo, it's got like kind of a rounder body. So they kind of describe what the actual spirit looks like. These are like colored paintings, so they show the plant and then they show the creature, what they call the owner. They describe everything from the nose, the mouth, the eyes. This one is El Dueño del Pepino. So pepino, I guess, is a tree or a big plant. And it kind of has the same thing. Su cuerpo amarillo, color amarillo. So that's a yellowish color. No es gordo. He's not like fat, but not skinny. Cabeza larga. So it's got like a long head, roundish, and... tiene sus orejas y sus ojos redondos. So it's like round ears and round eyes, and los dedos de sumanos igual. So like the fingers on the hands are like the same. So like the same type of shape and stuff like that. So the weird thing is they go through mostly plants, and then you get to this one page, and it has the spirit of the machete. The machete, like the big sword knife type thing. I thought that was interesting. That's a tool, right? So how they describe it is su cuello es su cara. So that means its neck. The neck is its face, basically. Kind of has the same type of color as the machete. The head is like kind of jammed into the body, like you just heard me say. Like the neck and the body is kind of one piece, and the head is kind of jammed in there in the center, and it looks like a big V, and the head in the middle of the V. I mean, there's too much to read for these things. They'll have like a page of just like a write-up of all this stuff, and then they'll have like a picture of a drawing and then it next to something. So they do the same thing. It's mostly plants. They have one for the menta. I'm guessing that might be the mint plant. They call it a big cat. So the like the spirit guardian of the mint plant is like a big dark cat with a big nose. So when they drew it, it looks like a cat mixed with a like a kangaroo slash mouse or something. And they describe these things about it, like what it like some of its like characteristics and I guess like personalities and what it likes to like. One looks like a person with long fingernails. Dueño de uña de murciélago. My Spanish isn't perfect. It's pretty good. But so there's like a spirit for just about everything. I'd say like 90% of this stuff is plants though. Anyway, so I don't believe that like people just the tribes and all just like kind of make this stuff up. I believe they've seen these things after living in the Amazon for thousands of years. You know, they've probably had more run-ins with these like spirit guardians of these plants, and it's tough to figure out how to go about this, like what to think about all that. It's like a whole nother world, and it's just kind of a glimpse into it. The other idea that it kind of makes you think of is has anybody else like heard of this stuff? So when people have said that they've seen different like guardians of plants and stuff like that, like there's people that have taken what we call peyote, and they've said that they've seen the spirit of peyote, like they've met the spirit of peyote, and some people have said that they've seen the spirit of another plant when they've taken it. I've read a few of these stories where like some of the like a guy kind of comes across one of these spirits while he was like under the influence of the plant, and then when he came home and like kind of slept it off, when he was waking up, the spirit of the plant was in his house and it like followed him home, and it kind of freaked him out and he like ran away from it or something, and he thought that it was there in the house, and that particular spirit, he described it as looking like a man that was like a field worker, like a farmer type man. So that's a little, to us in the United States, I don't want to speak for everybody, but in the United States that sounds odd. People don't wake up and like go about their day thinking about what could be in the next realm. Maybe they do if they like kind of live out in nature more. It's an interesting thing to think about. So I just thought I'd share that part. So the sad thing about some of these things, like with these datura plant, which is devil's weed, is these people mess themselves up for so long and they don't know that they're going to do it. One of the pretty sad stories I've heard was about a guy that his friend said that he talked about his kids every single day. Sometimes they communicated by email, and he said just 2 examples after this big accidental, like, I don't know if he took too many of these seeds or what, but he, with this devil's weed plant, like he took a bunch of these seeds. He says he did end up in the hospital from it and he had some serious problems. But when he did kind of wake up, he never talks about his kids anymore. And when someone asked him about his email, he says, "Oh yeah, give me the computer." And he just took his finger and just typed each letter of his email one at a time across the board and said, "That's it." And they're like, "Oh my God, like he's gone, like just from eating these seeds from this one plant one time." I would think just because something is a plant and it just grows off of a, thing, it doesn't mean we don't have to be careful and respectful of these things as living things. Like you wouldn't just walk up to a lion and slap it across the face. So with that same wisdom, like don't walk up to a plant that you don't know about and just go start swallowing pieces of it because your friend told you so. These things are extremely powerful. One hit of this bong pipe or whatever that this guy smoked this salvia out of was an 8-year-long experience. It scrambled his mind to no end. One hit. This guy took one hit of this stuff and sent him on a journey for 8 years. Like, would you imagine that? I would recommend listening to this guy's story. He's extremely sincere about it. I mean, you can kind of tell this is something that this guy went through. It's probably one of the last things I was going to talk about is, besides these plant things and the mental thing that can kind of straddle these different dimensions, another one I thought of is tech. These weird like UFO type things that people have. One example of what somebody saw was these military guys came up to this UFO that was hovering, I think, somewhere over the Pacific Ocean, and it was above their craft. And when this thing took off, they said it opened up an area in the sky because that was different, because their situation was nighttime with some rain and it was cloudy. And as the UFO flew away, they say it tore open the sky in a weird way that had a sunny day with clear skies where the UFO took off to. And then they said it like that part faded as the UFO took off, and it closed behind it and just like left them where they were in the nighttime at the rain. Just makes you think like these things can just shift in and out of different days and times and stuff. So I'd like to thank everybody for checking out the podcast. Remember to click the RSS feed so you can be notified of everything. My Patreon is ParadoxWalk, so just Patreon/the word paradox and walk, like you're walking down the street. The music has been Downbeat 88, all one word, like downbeat, and then 88, like 88 miles an hour, 88 piano keys. So hope you all enjoyed everything, and be sure to check out the next podcast come in. It should be weekly or bi-weekly, so thanks a lot, and hope you all enjoyed. Have a good day. Bye.